Actually, I wanted to make a painting of Icarus. He was more impressive than what I wanted Icarus to be. And so I abandoned that and made a painting just of him.
This is Reaper by Anthony Ackrill. Based in Gainesville, Florida, Ackrill didn't attend school to learn painting until he was 35. He had previously worked a number of jobs, including as a police officer, graphic designer, and house painter.
I was trying to learn on my own how to be a painter and looking at paintings and reading books and anywhere I could find. And I came down to the Appleton Museum. There was a lecture being given by an art historian about William-Adolphe Bouguereau. Afterwards, I asked him, where can you go to get the training, the type of training that William-Adolphe Bouguereau would have gotten and taught in the 19th century in France? Where can you get that type of training today? And he said, go to the Florence Academy of Art in Florence and study with Daniel Graves. So I did.
When creating a work, Ackrill begins with a pencil drawing of a live model. Then he'll make a small color sketch of what he wants the painting to look like. From there, he does a full-size charcoal drawing with the model posing. He then traces and transfers the image to the canvas where it serves as an outline.
For me, it's really just like a coloring book. Just stay in the lines and you'll get it right. It's a lot of correcting until he looks like the painting and vice versa. Then I'm done. And I'm not trying to make a photographic reproduction, but it just has to be a believable, natural rendition of him. But I always work from life and always work from natural light. It's the best rendition I can get, is working with natural light on the subject, natural light on my painting. But it does shift a lot throughout the course of a day, and the paintings take months to make sometimes.
Reaper was not Ackrill's original conception for this figure painting. It all changed when he met the male model he chose to portray.
This was before internet, at least for me anyway. I didn't have a computer yet. And I put an ad in the local college paper, and he showed up. Actually, I wanted to make a painting of Icarus. I didn't say that in the ad. I just said male model needed for figure painting, trim, fit, physique. And he called, we spoke on the phone, and he said he was the guy. And he showed up, and he was not at all what I pictured. And he was more impressive than what I wanted Icarus to be. And so I abandoned that and made a painting just of him that was focused on himself, which he found very pleasing. When I saw how handsome and beautiful his body was, and physical and masculine, I wanted to focus on that. I didn't want him totally naked, wanted him to wear clothes. And so we worked on some poses, and I was just looking around for props. What do I have? What do I have here? Here, hold this, do this, stay on this. I mean, it's a process every time. There was not a concept to start with. I did not conceive of this man being in that location. It was just, what can I do with this person to make, in this lighting, in this room, to make him look good in this pose? I gave him the side to hold, and of course he held it with the blade up, which looked like Grim Reaper. No, not doing that. So he put it down, and it just suddenly worked out. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but it's his legs and the shaft of the side, it creates like a three-pronged shape. It just all fell into place symmetrically, the way the blade hooks up. It's like the way his foot hooks up. There was just a lot of symmetry in it and asymmetry at the same time. So no, it was largely visual. Okay, so once I determined that, well, he's got to be somewhere. So if he's holding a scythe, I mean, he's not going to be at the grocery store or bowling alley. So he's going to be outside somewhere. And I did not want to make a big complicated production out of the background. I wanted it to be largely focused on him. So simple shapes, something agricultural, something rural. There's some just repeating forms in the image. The way the roof slopes of the building is same as his thigh. This comes over and down. This comes over and down. The way his right hand, his knuckles, they are similarly sort of blocking, that shape fits into there. There's just a lot of graphic design. And then the background colors and values were pulled and pushed to highlight or de-emphasize certain aspects of the lighting on him in his pose. I mean, his shoulders, one shoulder is light against dark. The other one is dark against light. So that way you get a clear outline of both of them, which his shoulders range was impressive, so I didn't want them to be disappearing. My background in graphic design features a lot into compositions of my paintings. There's a lot of design work, and then the story often comes afterwards. A lot of the times when I make a painting, it is visual based and composition based and design based. And when it's done, I look at it the way everybody else does for the first time. And I say, okay, well, what's that about? And I figure it out. I'm usually depicting what to me is about 7 o'clock on a summer evening when the sun's getting low, but not down yet. Still plenty of daylight left. It's warm. I don't ever paint anything that looks cold. I like golden light. I like raking light because it shows the form a lot. And obviously the light's raking across this man's body. I like chiaroscuro in paintings, which means light and dark in Italian. I'm a sucker for form. I like to see volume in shapes. So with a model like this, it was just riotous collection of lights and darks and halftones. There's not a whole lot of variety of color. It's almost monochromatic except for the blue. All of the colors in the paintings are in every inch of the canvas, just in different combinations. I mean, the blue that makes his jeans is the same blue that I would have used in his flesh and the sky. It's just a minuscule amount of it went elsewhere. In his jeans, a lot of it was there. And all the golden tones, those are also in his jeans. Those are also in the background. Those are also in the foreground. It's just a variation of the colors. I don't work with a big palette. I have maybe 6 or 7 or 8 colors on it. And in doing that, that makes a harmonious image. And it also helps if you're making up a figure in a landscape, because I'm painting him indoor. I'm painting him in a studio, inside. I have to make him look like he is in that environment. If I use only the colors that I used in him, which first I paint him entirely. Once I do that, now I know those are the colors I can use in the background. And if I deviate from those, if I just made up a background, go outside and paint a landscape, he's going to look cut out and just stuck on there like a paper doll. So that's what I do to help it place him in that environment, is keep it harmonious and simple. I arranged him in this pose. I actually have that scythe that he's holding. It came with the property. The previous owner said it belonged to her aunt. And I said, well, can I borrow it for this painting? And I was renting. She said, sure. And it just stayed there. And then I eventually bought the property, and it came with the property. I still have it. I put this shirt on his head. It just needed something there. Actually, he showed up with that one day, and I said, well, let's put that back on. So that was an afterthought, which worked out okay. One of my pet peeves in modern paintings is bad paintings of denim. It's hard to paint denim because most of the time people just get the color right, but it's very specific, that pattern of that weave and the stitching, and I really wanted to get it right. And the jeans that he was wearing, which were fashionable at the time, this was 20 years ago, they were not tight-fitting like that. They were baggy. He just wore sneakers. Those are not his shoes. So I bought a pair of jeans. Actually, they were child size, and I put them on a child mannequin that happened to be posed that way. I knew an artist that happened to have this mannequin with these legs. I couldn't believe my good fate. And that way, they would not change. It would be the same every day, and I could really dig out the details, because on a painting that size, I really felt like they can't just look like soft blue fabric. It has to look like the texture and feel of worn denim. And then those are my boots. Those are not his. And those were essentially a still life painting. He wasn't even in the room when I painted the jeans or the shoes. And the shoes never were attached to anything. They were just setting up. I just put them where his feet had been and painted them as the light fell on them. So there's a still life painting in there as well as a figure painting.